Okay, old business update on hydrant meters.
Want me to give that,
Well, I guess that's your topic, right?
right?
I can't do it.
Okay, everyone, you know how you voted the recommend to go ahead and we increased the cost of the hydrant meter, we were charging $50 for a year. How much do these things cost a piece, Bob? 3,500?
Yeah, 36.
Yeah. Anyway, we passed the resolution, we're gonna make it $250 per quarter. And most people take out these hydrant meters, they're a contractor, that really isn't much of a hindrance to them. But when we were at the commissioners meeting, at the workshop, to pass this resolution, one of your, colleagues, the trustee from Braceville, said, hey, I use those hydrant meters, to water my pumpkin patch. And so anyway, it sort of died because it was gonna be too much of a financial hardship on him. And the commissioners asked, are you guys able to modify this resolution to lower it for agricultural uses? So with that in mind, I've talked to Bob about it, and we're wondering if we can still make it $250 for all the contractors, but if it's an agricultural use, we make it $100 a quarter.
But
And we only have one person using
I was
it for
gonna say,
agricultural use.
so we're making accommodations for one person, and the commissioners seem to think that's a good reason.
Well, that's why I brought it up for discussion.
I remember we discussed at the last meeting, I thought we decided that as a board to go ahead and ask again for the raise.
My question though, again, to tell the truth, how can you hold one thing over another?
Oh, you could.
The agricultural meter is no cheaper, it doesn't have to be inspected any less, it's the same.
Well, we can't make a vote on it anyhow, so.
Alright, well, just
We'll have to
your
hold
thoughts
it
here,
till-
maybe I can go back to commissioner and try to put the original one back on there and say I discussed it
thinking.
with some members of the committee. And,
If he wasn't at the workshop that day, I mean, maybe he wasn't there for that reason, it would have never came up. I could see if there's 10 or 15 or even a handful of concern, but one person, regardless of who that person is.
right, and I even investigated that, I asked my, people that give out those permits for those, how many people come in here are contractors? All of them except one. He's the only one.
The one thing we could do that might help out and still be okay is a quarter is 3 months, it doesn't matter when that 3 months is, right? So, and you're not watering this time of year, you're not watering
Right.
probably late in the fall after
Right.
the harvest, so you're down to a 6 month period, 2 quarters. So you cut his costs in half at that point.
Yeah, but if it was just if he had it for 6 months.
Right.
He's gonna pay 500 and the commissioner, and we're trying to say, well, since you're a farmer, only 200. I'm just trying to,
And it puts you in a bad position, because you're the one that's going in and talking to them, but I just, once again, it's common sense that one person shouldn't dictate a change of a policy regardless.
okay. Alright. I just wanna know your thoughts on this before I go discuss some of them again, so, I know we don't have a quorum or anything, but I can say, are the 4 of you unanimous on this pretty much? Alright, okay.
You could just tell them we suggested that reconsider our last proposal.
Okay, yeah, well, I'll just resurrect that resolution and see if we can get it passed. In the meantime, we're losing money on these hydrant meters.
Do you think it would help, if we contacted the commissioners? You know,
For an issue this minor,
no,
I-
okay, I'm just saying, cause
I-
I get a call periodically from one of them, I might say, hey, by the way, you know, one of the commissioners requested that I got involved in this water advisory board. So, you know, if you don't think,
All right,
you don't wanna make a
it-
big deal out of it, I
that is-
understand.
that's all up to you, Dan, if you wanna talk to the commissioner about that, I'm fine with that, I'm not gonna feel
It
like
might
we're
help
stepping on
you,
any toes.
so it ain't just you
Right,
saying that.
right.
Okay, moving on, under new business, water tank maintenance, presentation by Dan Frum from the USG.
Thank you.
All right.
How's everybody this evening? So, these are, this is just an overview of the asset management program. You,
Alright, and we have asked Dan to come here and give this presentation. He gave it to, myself and the staff, a couple weeks ago. And what he has to say, we're looking at this favorably. The majority of the other, water districts in this area are under the same program. Which ones are they, Dan?
I can tell you right now. Let's go skip ahead. We'll shorten the presentation.
All
So
right.
these are Orange County, Akron, Youngstown, East Liverpool, Warren, Alliance, Louisville, Niles, Girard, Buckeye Water, Canfield, East Palestine, Lordstown, Monroe Falls, Talmadge, and Stowe. And these are all, our service center is local, even though we're across the country. It's local workers out of the local IPAT union out of Girard that would be working on your tanks if it's something that got implemented.
All right, now you can go back to the beginning.
Jump back. So again, my name's Dan from consulting with USG. Been covering this area for about 12 years now. You saw some of the systems that are already in it. So this is not the full presentation that I did here because it would take too long. So this is condensed. It's only 20 slides. You guys, everybody, please feel free to ask questions. An overview of the program, what we do, how we came to the program that we designed for the Trumbull County 7 tanks, and then the different options in terms of procurement and things like that. So just real quick, who we are. We started 1963 primarily as a tank company out of North Carolina. Grown since then. We actually started asset management concept in the 80s, and then we were bought and sold a couple times. Now we're back independently owned by a U.S. firm, which is quite nice. It makes it much easier than dealing with a company that owning us from overseas. Just put it up there to let you know who we are. We got 4,000 municipal customers. There's 45 consultants like myself that work with systems around the country. We have 5,000 tanks in our program. And we're ISO certified, which means we have to do what is in the contract. We get audited every single year. So if a paint changes or repairs are added, has to be signed off on, has to be approved, so that when we get audited, we can keep our certification. We do work in other lines of business, but we're just talking about tanks tonight. Just a little bit about us. This is 24. I don't have the 25 numbers in, but 1,500 renovations last year. Like I said, 5,000 tanks in the program. We annually inspect roughly 6,000 tanks, and the tanks we take care of, especially we have tanks on the coast that are 100 years old. So it's much more cost effective to maintain a tank instead of let it go to failure. We've been doing this for 60 years and 120 plus crews around the country. Talked about who's in the program locally. I can provide names, references, phone numbers if you'd like to talk to any of them at any point in time. And so the whole idea behind asset management, it really got more push from the EPA in the last couple of years, but they look at what assets in your system are critical and what condition they have to be in to provide the best level of service for your customers, and what's the most effective way to actually do it at the least amount of money, right? That's the whole concept of asset management. So when we come out and we do this for the water tanks, because if you don't have a water plant, they're the most expensive critical asset you have, right? If one fails, it's very expensive. Two of them were built recently, not too many years ago here. I'm working with Portage County. They just built one. I think it came out to $10 per gallon of the tank. So imagine a 500,000 gallon tank, right? So it's, like I said, much easier to maintain and much more cost effective. And not many places let people climb them, check on them, just because insurance risks, things like that. And we also, because we inspect them every year, we let everybody know what's going on in terms of water quality inside the tank if there's any issues going on. Traditional model is the bid approach, which I'm sure everybody is familiar with. Consulting engineers, coating manufacturers, someone selected from a bid. Something goes wrong, after a certain amount of time, everybody's pointing the fingers at everybody else. Sometimes not always the best way to go, because it's reactive and not proactive, and there's a lack of work in between years with the programs we put together, based on what the Ohio EPA wants in place, based on the Ohio Revised Code, which went in place in 2010, we're on the tanks every single year, inspecting every tank every year, letting you know what's going on. All our crews are in-house. They do the renovations, we do the inspections, we get reports to you every year. And we inspected all the tanks ahead of time so that we avoid change orders. That's something that we don't want to have happen, so when a number is given, it's a solid number for what's going on. And then you have a budget, right? Because everything gets more expensive every single year. The program would give you a budget every year for, in this case, we looked at a 10-year program with 5 of the 7 tanks getting renovated in that 10 years. And then after that 10 years, the 5 that were renovated would go to inspection only, so the cost would come down on those. And then the 2 that were just built not too long ago, based on their inspection and the condition at that time, they could be renovated. And I have that sheet printed out, but if I gave you that sheet first, nobody would listen to me. You'd just be looking at the sheet. So, like I said, yearly inspections, emergency repairs, security, all of this is included in what we do, interior, exterior renovations, in compliance, 10 state standards, Ohio EPA, WWA, everything that has to be followed by any system under the guidance of a public water system. The whole idea is to take it off your plate, right? So that you know exactly what's going on. It's a local service centers doing it. It's one contact for anything goes on. If the EPA is coming out for a sanitary survey and you want another set of inspections done, you call them to schedule it. There's no cost to it. Someone shoots a bullet hole in your tank, and I know it might sound far-fetched. It happens all the time, believe it or not. It comes out, it gets repaired. Kids screwing around after school, get in there, spray paint it, comes out, gets taken care of, removed and painted. They did it in Youngstown just this past presidential election. Someone somehow climbed a tank on Mulherron Avenue that's 120 feet tall and spray painted it. However, the word was misspelled, which is kind of funny. So,
They were in a hurry.
they were in a real hurry. I mean, the ladder at the top of that tank goes like this, so your back is like that. So that was interesting that they got up that one. I couldn't believe it, actually. So we did, and we inspected all 7 tanks, not just about a month ago, right? And the reason that we come out and we do it, we have NACE inspectors on staff, is because, and this is an example, we want to put together a schedule. This is the schedule here that I'll pass out shortly for all 7 tanks. And it shows what's recommended based on the current conditions of the coatings, and what's going on with the tanks, right? So we can put together a preventative maintenance schedule so you know what's happening every year, and you know what the cost would be. Any questions? It's pretty straightforward for the most part. Like I said, we've been doing this since the 60s. We're the largest asset management company in terms of water and wastewater in the U.S. We have 3,000 other assets. That involves water meters, pipelines, filter plants. We do the same thing for everything else in water and wastewater, concrete and steel. Debt-free company, local references, and then everything goes through the Ohio Revised Code. And this was put in place back in 2010 that would allow systems to enter into a tank maintenance asset management program under the 9.29 statute. This is just an example. This is Warren's. I just put it in there when they went into the program.
All right, and this revised code tells us that we don't have to bid out people like you. We can just make a deal with you without putting it out to bid.
So there wouldn't need to be a competitive bid against,
No.
are there other companies that offer you some services?
Not here. There's a number of companies down south. Will they come up here? I don't know. I don't really see them very often unless it's a very large project. And when I say large, like Akron was one of the biggest that I've ever been a part of, and we had one other company that called and they submitted something, but it wasn't even close. They don't have anybody local, so if something goes wrong, Akron had parameters where, with the emergency services, if the tank's leaking, you have 24 hours, right? So our local service center's in Louisville. So it just wasn't comparable in terms of service and things that they wanted. Could they come into the area eventually? Sure. as of right now, there's no one that does this type of approach. There's contractors that paint tanks, but not the asset management and maintenance approach. So I'll give you the question. So this is what we inspected all 7 tanks, and it breaks down to about $2.50 per customer per month, which is for 7 tanks, is pretty good in the long run. This is based upon the schedule at this point in time. If something would be changed or additional work, and these are with repairs all included. Like I said, I think we were in here for almost an hour and a half when we went through every tank and what repairs. Nothing critical to the point of any type of emergency, just repairs to bring it up to meet with the 10 state standards and Ohio EPA regulations, like screens and the types of safety climbs, the types of vents, stuff that changes from year to year that you have to update, which is all included within the program. It's the same type of what we do for each system that we go and we inspect. And with the 2 new tanks, obviously there's no yellow, there's no renovation work there. So they just get exterior cleanings, interior cleanings, make sure that the coatings stay in a good condition and last as long as they possibly can until they would get to a point to be overcoated. And it's important to point out that these tanks are all overcoats. These are not blasts because the coatings are still have adhesion property where you can overcoat it. If you keep them in that shape, you're talking 4, maybe 5 times, which is roughly 50, 60 years that you don't have to blast it and have that huge expense to have the curtain and the welding and everything up there.
All right, and I can also add that in the rate study that MS Consultants did for us, when was that, Bob, 2020, 21?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. Just that one item for that Brookfield tank, the rehabilitation for the interior and exterior, cleaning, painting, that sort of thing, they estimated $1.8 million just for that one tank. Now, we got 5 older tanks here that are going to get that entire interior, exterior renovation within the next 10 years. That 1.8 might have been high, but I would say that they would cost at least $1 million a piece once we went through the engineering, contractor and everything else. So you're looking at $5 million just for those 5. And if you add up 10 years at $324 a year, that's $3.24 million compared to, $5 million, which I think may be low for the estimate on what it's gonna take to repaint all 5 of those. And plus, he's giving us a visual inspection of every year to keep an eye on them, let us know if there is something failing out there with the coatings. We get these washout inspections in here. So anyway, that's where it is. After the 10 years, we can relook at it. That Southington tank and that Mineral Ridge tank, both of those that Mineral Ridge tank's only a couple years old. I think Southington now, that was constructed in 19, so that one's like 6 years older now. But this sort of takes it off the plate of our internal work having to satisfy the asset management plan.
That's a fixed
Regarding
price.
this, yes. As a matter of fact, when he first showed this to me, he had different years of different cost. And I requested, add up all 10 years of that and divide it by 10 and just give us the same payment all 10 years. I think that'd be easier for us to budget on.
So that would be an additional cost, that would be on the customer, $2.46 a month.
Yeah, that's what he estimates there, yes. And I think it would, and I think if we were to do each one individually with all these inspections and the painting and everything else, we'd easily be in excess of $5 million over the 10 years. And it's probably higher than that.
Well, Dan, I just want, that's not a proposal that we're saying to raise the rates $2.40. That's just him saying the cost of.
I was just breaking it
That's
down.
just a breakdown of what it is.
But if we did this, that probably is what we'd have to do.
Well, so
And,
within the Brookfield tank that we had estimated would be 1.8 million, some of that is already built into our current rate structure. So there, I mean, this, we're not necessarily at the point of saying what this would cost
Okay.
going forward. This is him taking basically the 10-year cost of 3.3 million, dividing it by our customer base. That's all it is, just for.
It's a visual.
So you have a maintenance budget already figured. and
Yes,
Would
so the-
subtract it out of this.
Yes, I mean, if this would be more than what the debt would have been on 1.8 million, so like that difference is probably where we have to discuss what can we do internally? I mean, it's no way are we coming and saying we want that, $2. It's not,
Thanks.
So,
That's what I thought.
these are, and I'm surprised you only have 7. The Howland standpipe, is that the one at 11?
Yeah, right there by the golf course, yeah.
Who owns the ones on Ridge Road in Howland?
Niles.
Niles owns those?
I think they're Warren tanks.
On Ridge Road,
And
Property Hill,
yeah,
there's
Niles
two.
and Warren.
right across in Bowendale.
Yeah, I know which ones you mean.
Yeah.
Those are Niles tanks, I was like, they were
There's
Warren
two tanks right next to each other on Ridge Road.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are Niles, I painted them both and
Okay,
replaced
all
all
right,
their records.
okay, I wasn't sure.
I'm thinking of all these tanks and, okay, there's only 7 now. I find surprising, but
Now, these costs, like the Brookfield tank, in calculating the rates based on that renovation and maintenance, only the Brookfield Water District would absorb those.
And we have a combined district now, right?
Southeast,
I'll get it.
Champion,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
all
all,
water district, what combined?
yeah, it's all combined into one, even though we still keep the sub-districts for public water systems. Yeah, everybody's on the same rate now. Everybody pays the same.
That Mahoney Avenue tank, you say you've been in there and visually inspected that tank?
Yes.
What did you find, anything? I'm curious because I've had complaints on a couple of 3 residents up there. The old guy even put in a filter, and I saw the filter.
And in terms of water quality within the tank, nothing.
I mean, he's getting, his filter after 6 weeks looks like he threw it in a farm pond.
I mean, it could be the tuberculation within the pipe that sending the water to his house, not necessarily the tank itself. I mean, that tank at Mahoning Avenue, that's the what if, correct me if I'm wrong, the tall white hydro pillar, correct?
Yeah.
There's like a
Yeah,
brand new
yeah,
house.
yeah.
It was the second one.
Yeah, so no, there was nothing that was in that tank that would cause discoloration. There's nothing in that tank that I've not seen in any of the hundreds of tanks that I've
Did you look
inspected.
internally on these too?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I didn't realize.
I got pictures of,
Okay,
I got
you just did a cursory exterior and look at them, but you look,
Yep.
How do you do it? Just
Open it up.
pop the hatch and take a look in?
yes,
Well, you can't tell there's, sediment in the bottom,
all but one of your tanks I could see the bottom.
really.
The only tank that I could not see the bottom was the Howland Avenue tank.
Okay, that's part, cause it's that.
Standpipe,
It's
yeah.
that standpipe.
But the hydro pillars, you typically can see it, they usually have the belly, and you can see the sediment there, and you have to take into account, there's not a water tank anywhere that doesn't have sediment in it, regardless of if it's
Right,
just
right,
built or not
right.
built. But
Right,
there was nothing in any, if there would have been anything that you would consider quote unquote unusual or, an emergency, I would have highlighted that and called Dan immediately when we set this up. But there was nothing in that tank that would lead me to believe that that tank is the cause of discoloration.
alright, I've gotten that call too, Rex, from that, resident that lives up there close to that chicken tank. I've gotten that same call. Yeah, and I'll be followed with it too then, I thought, if you think about it, if he's right next to the tank, he should be getting some of the freshest water there is.
Well,
In and out of that tank all the time.
I guess it depends on,
Kicking on and kicking off and,
I'm assuming it's a bypass when it's filling, so that some of the water is gonna be fairly fresh and not even the tank water. It's gotta
Right.
be, it would be coming from the
Right.
pipes.
and I'm not getting any complaints from other residents up there around that tank, just him.
I have another guy.
You had another guy, is he near that tank?
There it is.
Filter.
And how old is that filter? 6 weeks?
6 months, he said.
No,
6 weeks.
6 weeks? Oh, my. Alright,
well,
Dan,
is-
we're gonna have to zero in on what's causing this. I don't think it's the tank though, Rex, cause he's telling us that
Well,
there's
we
no
need to,
sediment.
yeah, there's something
Yeah,
wrong, I mean,
yeah.
you don't deserve that kind of.
No, not at all. I mean, water's from, MVSD, right? Or no?
That's normal water.
Or,
Or
No, that
come off in
tank-
their
that tank-
system.
was never utilized to its its potential. I don't know if you remember the history of that tank was permitted in size to allow for the expansion of the champion system out to Settleton and West Falmouth. And don't get me going, but they decided to come out of Newton Falls.
Gotcha.
We'd be here till midnight if I got going, but
Fair enough.
anyway, as a result, it wasn't turning over as much as it should, so my concern when I saw this was, gross, slime and this and that.
If
So
there was-
I don't know how to explain it.
It has to be, so, I mean, I've done working for Warren and their pipes, I've cleaned them and coated some of them there and been part of replacements too. It's, you change anything on the pH and you're gonna have tuberculation become loose, and then you're gonna have discolored minerals, especially with 100-year-old pipes, and Warren's got a ton of them. I mean, I've had lengthy talks with Tom and Franco about it, to where we were looking at replacing, or coating miles of it that wasn't broken, but it had built up tuberculation, which you have to get out. If you don't get that out, and it becomes loose, or,
Yeah, yeah.
that will discolor water right away.
But you would think if that was the problem, we'd be getting this complaint from, the majority of Champion customers up there. And,
Does it all, it all comes from that same area of
Why is
Warren?
it just the people right there in the vicinity of the tank? That's the question. Alright, we're gonna have to investigate that, like I said, Dan, and try to zero in on what's causing that. But it doesn't sound like it's the tank, right?
No, I can show you pictures from inside the tank. It's not that tank.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other questions for me?
Thanks for coming out, we appreciate it.
No, appreciate you inviting me. Absolutely.
Okay, move on to review the current operating statement.
Okay, I think I passed this out to everybody. Sorry, I wasn't here last quarter. My wife wanted to go on a cruise, so I obliged. Yeah. So when you guys were here having fun, I was probably, having a few cocktails. This quarter actually went surprisingly well. If you had looked at our performance at the operating statement that was given on 9/19, we had showed about $250,000 loss. Right now, year to date, we're showing about a $13,000 loss. We'll have a little bit more revenue in the next 2.5
Yeah,
weeks.
look down that column for 601, Trumbull, the second one from the right, that totals all the other ones. Okay, so I just picked that out too, go ahead,
Yeah.
Bob. I just
So-
wanted to
so
tell them where to look.
We've lost about 13,000, and you can see each district's performance on that increase, decrease in residential, or residual equity. Have a good holiday.
Great holiday.
Thank you very much.
So we have a little bit of interfund transactions to do in the next week or two, but I think comparatively to where we were last year, we were bleeding and running out of money. The rate increase, we've pretty much steadied the ship, and we're now at a break-even point. So that's all we ever asked for, is to be break-even. So, I guess overall that I couldn't ask for much more over that past quarter.
All right, and now, if you look at the bottom number, we got an unencumbered balance of 466,000. And last, report, I don't think it was, we had maybe 100,000?
shows 55,000.
Okay, so we went from 55,000 to 466, so things are looking up,
Which a lot of that is year-end encumbrances. I mean, we're just
yes.
zeroing them out. I mean,
But you can see which districts here are winners, which ones are losers too. Champion's killing us, Rex. Well, your rate was already up there, I think, before we increased on everybody else.
and I do have a calculation on the bottom for a pass-through discussion, but when we get to that, I guess I can elaborate on the bottom portion of it.
So what are causing the losing districts there?
One is that, Denman.
Yeah, well, Warren Township, very small system there. Yeah, and the pipes are too big. We have to do quite a bit of flushing to keep that water quality up for a handful of customers. Well, I think we have less than, how many customers do we have in Warren Township, Dan? Maybe 100, 150?
I think it's more than that, but it's not much more than
Okay.
Around 300.
300?
I think so.
Okay, so we only had 300 customers there, and the pipes are oversized for when Denman Tire was in there. So that's, I'm still trying to formulate a solution to that problem, but at the moment, there's not a whole lot we can do. And I think we calculated if we were to keep the old way of rate adjustments in order to cover cost, and Warren Township was gonna have to go up to over $20 a thousand in order to do that. That was one of the drivers to take us to consolidating all these.
And if you look, the payments to other governments line, and I mean, I know there's gonna be a discussion with state reps and, but the payments to other governments, so far we've paid $5 million to other governments, and our total revenue's 9.3, and that includes some reimbursements we got for a grant. So if I take the grant out, we're at around $9 million, so 5/9 we're pass through. I mean, we just send the money right to Warren, right to everybody else.
So that's a very bulk purchase.
Yeah.
Payments out
Yeah.
of governments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can see our total revenue up there. Well, not including the RIF, the total revenue is 8.823 for the 601. And we're sending 5 million of that straight to the cities for the water. All right, and I think everybody knows why that Braceville one is so high too. And I'm trying to get that valve closed to Newton Falls and get them on Warren Water. And we'll get to that here in when we get down to the state road project, I'll brief you on that. All right.
Is that it? Oh,
Unless anybody has any questions.
okay, backflow program. Backflow Solutions Inc.
Alright, Dan, Vermonic was gonna go ahead. He is now the water superintendent. Ron Watson has retired since our last committee meeting.
So, I'd like to use BSI online for our backflow program. Warren uses them, Youngstown uses them, so, many water districts use them. Right now, the backflow program is, the plumber gets it, the customer gets tested by the plumber emails me the backflow test form, I enter it into a spreadsheet and track it that way. And then when somebody hasn't tested their backflow by a certain point, we send out letters. So this BSI online would take care of all of that. And what they do is they charge the plumber to submit the report, and then they keep track of the database, and all we would just pay them an annual fee. So really the plumbers would be paying them. So it kinda just, instead of me receiving, thousands of emails, thousands of phone calls, you know, we're spending, I don't know, what do you think, Bob, in postage every year?
So we have roughly 1,000 backflows out there at commercial and industrial properties. And so postage is 74 cents, so if we send 1,000 out and everybody responds to the first letter, we're spending $740 right away on postage. That's not counting any of his labor, our secretary's labor. We have a guy in the water department that helps, so we have 3 people that are kind of involved in the backflow process. And they spend more than a few hours a month doing it. So between postage and labor, if we can write a check to BSI for, let's say, $1,000 for the year, and they do everything, it's a big win for us internally. I guess the realistic question is, I think they charge $16 to the plumber to file the paperwork. So from an internal county systems, it's a complete win because they'll manage all the process for us. Like, we won't have to chase people, they'll just let us know when someone doesn't file, and then we'll shut them off, is kind of the process. So a plumber that goes out and does it is now gonna have to charge their the commercial property owner the $16 on top of what they charge for the backfill. So
That's
that's
through then the townships too, right? The backflow?
Any commercial, well, most commercial connections, there's certain, scenarios where a backflow prevention device is required on your line coming in from the county. I think there may even be some residentials, people that wanna keep an active well on their, people that wanna keep an active well on their property, they need a backflow prevention device put on there. But these things need inspected every year, and they're pretty much an administrative hurdle for us every year, getting out all these letters, making sure they were all inspected, keeping track of who didn't get inspected, getting letters out to them. Then you get a lot of businesses that change hands, trying to figure out, well, geez, these people aren't even the owners anymore. And anyway, all this will just be taken care of by these people. And how much does it cost, Dan? I thought it was $1,800 a year.
That's for the best plan you can get. They'll send out-
$1,800 a year, and we're already paying, what, $750 a year
well,
just.
that's for
just
one
for-
letter. And that's for one, so
Oh, yeah,
if we average 2, we're paying
We
15.
probably pay that in postage in a year. And let these people handle all of it, and, I mean, it takes a tremendous amount of, frees up my water crews for more important things around here. So that's something else that we would like to move forward with. Any questions on that?
I mean, it's just, I understand what you're saying, these maintenance contracts and whatnot, but with the consistent bulk water rate increases, and then you're gonna enter into contract for maintenance of water tanks, and those, et cetera. Do you have any idea what that's gonna do to user fees? I mean, to add those.
Well, if we're going back to that, well, on this one, it's actually gonna save us money, cause I know we're spending more than $1,800 a year on this backflow. Just in postage.
So I would say that the BSI backflow would not be anything to do with the rate.
Yeah,
It would, now the plumber would charge the resident more.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not, it wouldn't involve us, but if you got a backflow and it cost you $60, now the guy's gonna come out and he's gonna charge you 75 or 80 because he's gonna have to pay that fee to BSI. So it is an increase to that service, but it's not, that wouldn't do anything.
Vast majority will never notice it.
Well,
See it.
and say that, I had asked Dee about our fire lines, and I said, since we raised it, have we gotten any calls or complaints? And she said, not a one. So that was, I was interested to hear, because it's not, residential hits differently than our commercial users.
We noticed in the township, there was raised to $75 now.
Okay.
Where we have a fire line out in front of the fire station, so we did notice the raise.
Okay.
I didn't call it.
I'll give you a couple. So BSI, I would say is a zero impact to the rates.
With this.
Yeah, no, this thing with the tanks, he's showing here that about 246 per customer per month. And
So
the bulk of that is gonna come out of the RIF. And the RIF is currently $5 per month. I don't wanna say, half of the RIF is going to go toward, just to, maintaining our tanks. But that is one of the purposes of the RIF.
Is your RAF
So,
keeping up with the maintenance?
yeah, you can see here, we got a surplus of 617,000 in the RIF here. Right now.
So the RAF started the year at 606,000, and it's currently at 719, and that's counting money.
I'm seeing 617 here, Bob.
Oh, you use the uncovered balance. I use the true cash balance. But so
Okay.
it started at 606 and it ended at 617.
This is.
Oh, not okay. So the RIF, as far as Gary and I are concerned, would eat, or we would use the majority of that. We'll say $2.46 would come out of the RIF, but not much rate increase to the user. And that's where we have.
Well, I don't see us having to
That's
increase it.
essentially what the RAF was increased in the last. rate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, so we had planned on doing the Brookfield tank. Scott, before he left, was championing the project, and he was at 1.8-ish engineer's estimate. So that's what we were using as our numbers, and I was looking at 20 years, and then when the commissioners asked me to lower the rate, I think I took the loan out to 30 years. Like, all I did was spread it out longer to reduce what I thought the financial burden would be. So when I'm looking at this number and saying, so they're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks for 3.3 million over 10 years, that's not that doesn't seem like a bad price to me. Now, I don't know, you know far more than I would know about what the costs to do a tank are, but a lot of local people use this firm, and I think I sat with Ron.
Well, I
Martin.
think it's a great idea, it's just that, it's gonna,
I
you
don't,
know what you went through with your last increase.
Yeah,
yeah.
And you say, well, we're going here and.
I don't think,
Yeah,
we're not,
increases, we're gonna do $24 a thousand.
right, I don't see this increasing the rates at all. If anything, it keeps them down. Because if we were to do these things individually, we're gonna have to figure out a way to pay for them. And so our amount of debt payments are gonna go up, which is gonna have to cause rate increases. This here is actually going to be, the total dollar is less than what it would be if we were to go take out loans. And if we were to, if we were to take out loans to do these tanks too, remember, there's gonna be an interest rate attached to those loans through OWDA.
It was a bad idea to put that 246 down there, when you're saying there's not gonna be any increase.
Well,
No,
so I
well,
guess.
no, we already have $5 a month coming in on
Yeah,
the
I know,
RIF.
I know.
And we
So,
took that from 2
if
to
that covers
5 just for reasons for this right here.
And if that covers $1 or $1.50 of it, then you gotta have and it's not a rate, a per gallon increase of $1, it'd be a one-time fee.
Per month.
Per month.
Yeah.
$1.
I think it's preventative too, instead of waiting,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean, and so I mean.
No, I agree with it, it's
You
just,
know,
Yeah.
So,
down the road, there's.
Well,
gonna be-
I
Well,
think it's gonna save us money. This isn't gonna
Here,
cause
you're
us
gonna
to
have
go
a
for a
rate
rate.
increase down the road, there's no question.
well, so I guess if you look at the RIF column, which is the second column from the right, so we've brought in 520,000 in the RIF, and we spent 415,000, and that would not include this $300,000 for the tank. Meaning, so if we put another $325,000 into that expense column, we would then be losing money out of the RIF. So something would have to, because there's really no tank expenses currently shown in there. I
Right,
mean, there
but,
might be something small, but this is meter replacements, buying, I mean, this is,
the pump goes bad, we replace it out of here.
I mean,
But that revenue in 2025, that RIF didn't go from 2 to 5 until when? Halfway through the year? April? Okay, so we could probably be able to say that I don't know, maybe 700,000 a year is the true amount of revenue we get off the RIF.
Well, it'd be
And-
5 times 11, so it'd be 55 a month.
All right, I didn't follow that one, Bob.
$5 per water line, 11,000 water lines, so it's 55,000 a month.
Okay.
RIF.
55, 1, 2, 3 times 1, 2. So we're looking at the RIF bringing in 660,000 per year, and we're gonna use 324 of it for our tanks.
But that doesn't leave, so my
And
financial,
if
would
the
say that's not a
RIF,
lot of money to leave
okay, if the RIF,
I mean,
for,
we may
stations.
have to go to we may have to go to the district if the RIF isn't keeping up. We don't necessarily have to pay for all of the RIF, but if we have surplus in the district, we can help pay
You
this
just had a
state
major
part of that
break
too.
in the champion pump station, did you know? You replaced the pump.
Yeah, we refurbished, right now,
We're trying to get that tanks offline, those pumps offline.
we just put a new one in. There's 2 pumps in there, we put a new one in. And right now, we have 2 new ones that we can replace both of them if we need to.
So we have a couple spares on the side. All right. So we wanna get the state road, right?
Yep.
All right, we got these maps.
oh, I moved them, I'm sorry, I didn't know that's what they were for.
Let's see what I got out for you guys. We had a good meeting last week on this. With Burgess and Nyepel and the water operators. And we had some people, here on Teams meeting too. Basically, I think, we've gone over this before, you know, what the purpose of that state road water reutilization project was. This is our new pump station here. This is the new line that came in to connect this Braceville district to the Zeta Champion district. We got all this in. Currently, they are disinfecting this line. How far up are they now, David?
We're to Templeton, you mean as far as what?
Being able to serve. Well, we're disinfecting this line right now, and we want to be able to make this water available to these people along here.
We're good up to Templeton.
Okay, so up to Templeton, that's as far as we got? Okay. We're still disinfecting so we can bring this on service, even though the pump station won't go online yet. And the reason we can't turn that pump station on is that the EPA, we're right now trying to change their mind on this, but they want a chloramine injection station in here and polyorthophosphate.
Right, and our consultant, is putting the chloramine boosting, device in at the station. I talked with him the other day. What I'm hoping the EPA will let us do is, we have a new pump station that is currently in design over by
Yeah, this one here.
the treatment plant. And when that goes in, hopefully the EPA lets us put it there, and that would service the whole system instead of putting it in halfway through the system at that pump station. I don't know where he's at with that yet, but.
All right, now the reason behind this polyorthophosphate is that when we are changing water supplier from Newton Falls to Warren here, they are worried about, the sediment inside the existing pumps, inside the existing pipes in Braceville, that it's gonna fluff off and cause problems. That's what happened down in Sebring when they changed the water supplier. You know, a bunch of things become dislodged from the internal surfaces of the pipe, and it caused a big health problem down there. overly cautious and make us put polyorthophosphate into this water before I can put it into, these pipes. Now,
That seals the scale.
yeah, now my argument to them is, the system here is less than 5 years old, there's no scale out there that we know that's on any of these pipes. So to me, this is just, an exercise in, futility here, because we don't have a lot of buildup here. If these were old cast iron lines that's been in the ground for 50, 60 years, I could see it as a problem. But here we got brand new PVC pipes out here that haven't been in service for that long. We'll put the polyurethane in when it's ready, when it's designed, but I wanna open up that pump station now. I need to close that Newton Falls valve. This is killing us down here. We gotta get that shut. So, that's my argument with them. I've got to get that water switched over to Warren through here. And we can get the poly in it later. We're putting the chloramine booster into this pump station here. I don't think it'll be necessary here in the winter. By the time the summer months get here, we should be able to get that chloramine booster, or injector in here. And as Dan was saying, right now this is being designed for this other pump station out here in front of the Warren treatment plant. We get that one turned on, we can turn off this one down here in Champion. So we're actually water quality problems coming out of Warren, because all this water is going through their entire grid before it comes up and gets to us here in Champion. Here, we're gonna be getting this water fresh from the plant, pumping it over here, filling the Woodrow and Champion tanks with it. We bring it up here to this pump station, getting it out, we should have fresh water through this entire thing. With chloramine injection if needed. I don't even think we're gonna have to inject that much here at this pump station, and poly being introduced here. That's what I wanna do, but right now we're at the mercy of the EPA on whether or not I can get that pump station turned on. It's ready to go.
You say poly introduced here? Is that-
Yeah, just introduce it here.
Is that elevations correct? State road,
What's that?
you got a state road pump elevation of 936, and you got a Southington Water Tower 937.
Yeah, our GIS guy took all them.
That's a really good design, right? And that
Yeah,
brings
what's
us-
he looking at, the ground elevation? He's looking at the ground elevation of the Southington tank or something. That was a high point up there where we put that Southington tank. There's something wrong on these elevations, Rex, I can tell you
I
that,
know, that's
because
why I questioned it.
Southington Estates is not 961 feet higher than that tank. I mean, what is that, 24 feet, there's no way. That runs downhill toward that. So I don't know what elevation he is using for right here, for that Southington water tower.
You know what's unfortunate?
I'm-
I just gotta throw this out there.
Yeah.
You got a Braceville booster pump station that you haven't even paid the debt off yet.
Yep. Well, I think EPA is gonna require us to have that secondary connection. You know what I mean? An emergency connection out there. If we can get away from that, I think we could probably take those pumps and use them somewhere else eventually.
Wasn't proposed to have a secondary feed of 422 from just, what would that be, east of the bypass?
Well, that was the original assessment project that we had to get water to Southington through here. We had a petition, we took it to the public hearing to run that water out 422
That would be a secondary
to
feed.
get up here, but it didn't pass the public hearing.
I'm just saying, that
Yeah.
would be the ideal secondary feed. if we
Yeah,
had
that
a
would be.
problem here.
Yeah. But we would still be getting old water out of their grid to try to send out that way, instead of fresh water out of the plant to send it all out. Yeah, 'cause even if let's say Warren did go down and we did have to try to open this emergency connection, then you're mixing the waters again. That would just be don't see us ever, if they, EPA makes us keep this emergency connection open, I think it would cause more damage than good. It'd probably be
I
best for people
understand.
just to not have water than to
understand.
try to introduce any cold water in there
But
again.
is it, you know, if you have an issue on this main feed coming out of Champion, there's something done here because you're gonna take this offline.
Well, we say the same thing about the, well, I guess you're right. We still have this emergency connection here in case this went down, so yeah, you're right, Max. Yeah, it would be nice to have this secondary one in here. It's not in the budget at the moment, but you never know what's gonna happen in the future.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
You gotta get home by Christmas. Rate increases for Miles and Warren for 2026. No Christmas, huh?
Yeah.
So this is more along the lines of fourth.
That one, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you already pass it on?
Yeah.
everybody?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm
I
sorry.
got you, I didn't have one.
Okay.
You got anything from one?
Oh, you had some, okay, I didn't actually know Warren had given anything.
I wrote it on my phone.
Okay. So it's gonna go from 446. So I guess this is more of a high-level discussion. If you look at the numbers, Niles charged us currently $560 for the Howland Public Water System. They're gonna move it up to $588 for Weathersfield, which is our 609 fund. It's gonna go from 650 to 683, and then our southeast district is gonna go from 440 to 462. So that's an increase of 28 cents, 33 cents, and 22 cents. How we basically got to where we were last year was none of this was ever addressed. We just kept eating it. So earlier when I said this year we've lost 13,000 so far, we're trying to break even. Basically, we're gonna break even until we get the new Niles bill, which is gonna cause us to lose, and we're gonna get the new Warren bill, which is gonna cause us to lose. So on the bottom of this, operating statement, I did a quick calculation, and this is not necessary, because it doesn't have any of Warren's numbers in there. But what I did is figured out what this cost increase is gonna cost us for our suppliers from Niles, or when Niles supplies the Southeast District, the Mineral Ridge, and Howland. So basically, this increase is gonna cost us $145,000 at our current usage. So Warren's is gonna be, I'd have to calculate it, but we could be looking at a $300,000 increase in our bulk water year over year. So I'm more or less asking the board, are you guys okay with us going to the commissioners and just saying, we wanna pass this on? I mean, just the,
This is a pass-through rate increase. Now it's taking it up between 22 and 33 cents per thousand. And the combined district itself will need to increase it 16 cents per thousand to cover the Niles.
so it's, I guess, somewhat of a practical question. I mean, if we can eat it again for a year, and then,
No, we need to make this pass-through now.
well, and then the following year, I'm gonna be screaming that I have no money and I'm gonna run out of money. So it's more of, unless it's gonna be addressed to where we're not getting water marked up 40% to us, and if they're gonna do it every year, ours is just going up 1.4 times what it's going up.
So what you're saying is, rather than what you have these 28 cents,
Correct.
22 cents, it'll be 16 cents.
Now, that is
Yeah.
16 cents just for the Niles increase.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that-
whatever Warren's increase would be, we'll just say it can be the same. So
Do we have already scheduled what Warren's is
He
going
just-
to be?
he just gave it to me right now.
Oh, okay. Well, how much is theirs going up?
It's gonna go from December 1st to billed in January of 26, an 8% increase.
Across all three Warren,
What's the
all
inside
three of them
rate
supplied
increase?
by Warren.
It doesn't say.
So Champion, Warren Township, and Mosquito Creek are the three that Warren provide, or the three that Warren supplies. and they're going up 8%.
And that's not us asking for anything more, I mean, we're just saying.
We gotta do the pass-throughs as they occur,
I agree.
yeah.
I mean, it's no additional funds to Trumbull County, we're just trying to match our costs to what they're charging us.
Alright, so we need to calculate, we know the Niles one, it'll cause the combined district rate to go up 16 cents. And we're gonna have to calculate what this is gonna cost, what the overall bulk water cost is gonna go up for everything after this 8% from Warren. Okay, so we're looking at, let's say it's similar, it's gonna have to go up another 16. Well, let's say we may have to increase our rate 50 cents a thousand just to cover, I think that's higher, we'll come out with the exact number, but 50 cents or lower per thousand, just to cover this pass-through for this coming year. And Bob, I would like to get this, done in January. I was hoping we had a quorum tonight, and we had, actually, you know, you could have added in Warren here too, but you're saying you didn't get the numbers till tonight.
Yeah, we need to know what they're raising their inside rate, to comparatively, because pass-through should reflect any additional.
Addition rate on it, did you
just
want-
bulk water,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
so, and you know, they're famous for having that number skewed.
well, they charge, what's Warren, 40% above their inside rate. Yeah, well, we have to confirm that their inside rate went up also. They're not just keeping their rate inside down and then, you know, willy-nilly, increasing it out here to the satellite.
What we did, that's what we're paying now, 446. Then it's be 8% on top, 8% of, increase on that.
Is that for all three of them? All three of the districts?
Right now, we're paying,
We're paying 446 a thousand?
Did they increase these, meter charges, do you know?
No, that was sent a while ago.
And just to put it in perspective, we charge, our RIF fee is essentially our meter charge.
Yeah, that's 35 cents.
And we charge, well, that's 30, but that's,
36 cents.
but that's,
35.6 cents, yeah.
so when you, our RIF is $5 per user across all the meter sizes. Warren's is $4.13, and it goes up all the way to $700 a month for large meters. So they have, the bigger meters you have, the more their RIF, their comparative RIF charges.
All right, Bob, that thing you got from Warren, are they saying in terms of 1,000 gallons, or are they saying in 100 cubic feet or some other?
Oh, it's just a percentage.
I think they bill on 100 cubic feet,
Right.
750 gallons.
So that 446, then that is already converted to 1,000 gallons?
Yeah, that's HCF, I think, and then it's after the.
Wait a
40
second, that's a big, wait a second now. It's 446 per 100 cubic feet.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, we
He
need to
has
convert
H-
that,
he
that's
has
a big difference,
He has
yeah.
he has HCF.
Yeah,
HCF,
But that's-
446 per 100 cubic feet.
yeah.
But they charge us a different rate for the first 40 HCF, and then it goes to that, so I just use that number because that's the bulk of the bill,
Right.
you know?
They have it on a tier system for so many gallons. They charge.
Niles does too. But we use the high,
Yeah,
Use the
that's-
highest
that's where
one,
it's gonna be.
yeah,
we eat the,
all right. So I guess my question is, to get this pass through done, we need a quorum here from the committee to be able to present this to you guys again. So are we looking at another committee meeting in January, Rex, once we get these calculations ready?
When was our next one? We had March 26th, so we're thinking. We could call a special meeting, yeah.
It may be stressed to how critical it is to have a board.
Yes,
Make some phone calls
Yes.
maybe and say, maybe if something's going on, what's
Yeah.
the date, so.
if we don't, our revenues are just gonna start going down again.
Because it's actually your last item on here, regionalization review. If you don't mind, I'll jump ahead to that.
Well, let's, so anyway, we're probably looking at a special meeting in January. Okay.
And that's what I was gonna
And you
ask
wanna lead
for.
that in, and you wanna bring in some state reps and things?
Phil's thinking about having this regionalization meeting earlier in January, wasn't it?
That's what I'm hoping. I actually spoke with a whole bunch of people this week.
Okay,
Dave Thomas is in Israel, but, some of the other people have been available this week, and, one of the things that, with me talking to them about 6115 is, and honestly, I've been rather large. I'm a target out there as usual, for Lake the River, because I believe Lake the River is going to be a great thing. And all of the representatives in that whole group, they're interested to see exactly how this would play out. So I'm hoping to have a meeting in January anyhow for that legislative group, but I'll be waiting to hear, and as soon as I can, I'll get with you and let you know.
all right, okay. And like I mentioned about this subject before, any regionalization, if we were to have a regional water authority, the main players are gonna be Youngstown, Niles, Warren. I mean, they're the ones we have to get on board with.
Yep.
That's it. If you don't have them, then it's not gonna happen.
Yes.
And, trying to, mainly Youngstown and Niles, because MVSD just called, we need the MVSD and we need Warren on board with it. I think the MVSD board will be okay with it, but, well, first of all, at MVSD, they can see it, but that board
Mhm.
and MVSD, they're representatives from Niles and Youngstown.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Well, yes, but one of the things is they should be compliant with 6115, and they are not compliant. This goes back to when Judge Rice stopped the increase that time. They were supposed to have, before they do an increase, they're supposed to have a meeting of
Citizens Advisory Council, which I'm on, and I do go to the meetings now.
okay.
I've been going to them for a couple of years now.
well, the Southeast District isn't represented. The way the law read, the way I read it,
Yeah,
there should be a representative from each of those communities that.
are they considering me the representative then?
That's, I don't know.
Because I'm in
I don't know,
charge
you
of
want
the
some more
Southeast
money?
District.
We're out of it, so,
All right,
but,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
So short of regionalizing, because I think the uphill fight much
Oh,
like
it's gotta be.
but is it? So regionalizing would be putting it all under one authority, which would be fine, similar to what Northeast Regional Sewer did. So Cuyahoga
Right.
County, they basically took all the sewer infrastructure, put it under a board, and that's it.
Like Assembly Trustees,
And I'm saying, that's fine if that were to happen, but you're fighting Youngstown, Warren, and Niles.
Well, you know, you have to get, that's where you gotta get your representatives involved.
And-
You gotta,
yes,
long
and that's-
term, what is this causing, these passive agreement? Because most of the, businesses, they have no interest to go to Warren anymore. Kimberly Clark would be an exception, but,
Well, they got
you
a
know,
river.
yeah,
Well, they're in Holland, they're not in Warren.
well, you're right, yeah, Howland and,
Warren Township.
1% is in Warren.
Yeah,
Stuff there.
Well, what I was gonna say is, so legislatively, can they do something to stop, basically to say you can't mark up the water? I mean, we don't need regionalization, we just need the 40% markup to go away to where,
Yes.
I mean, it's killing, it's killing liberty, which is not really our, we don't have a dog in that fight.
Well,
But,
But
But if you got rid of all the 40 on top of 40 on top of 40,
Wait.
it would lower the rates to
It
the
should,
end.
any
I mean, we're an
maintenance
end
should be
consumer.
addressed to any pump station that water might go through, that's servicing the outlying areas, and any of the main lines, maintenance they have, that's it.
Mhm.
That's it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they attach the whole operating of the city.
Yeah.
So that
We
has
just
to be
pay for all
addressed.
of it.
Well, and that's where I'm saying, so, I mean, regionalization is a fine option, but legislatively, you could put controls in that stop the excessive markups. I mean, which would not be we don't,
Right.
we wanna lower our bulk water costs, we don't wanna enrich the city.
Yeah, I would be happy if they were lowered from 40% to 10%. To me, that would be,
And that's where the discussion should be.
yeah.
Yeah, that's-
They
If
cannot,
they wanna mark it up a little bit for their pump station or whatever to get it to me, the electric bill, things like that, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, I look at those people in Liberty, and yes, I understand that Gerard just put the money in for the tower, they increased the pressure and all of that, and they had to take out bonds for it. Do I wanna hurt them because of that? No. But an 80% markup on water, something's wrong.
No,
You know, and it goes back to the townships, always being at the bottom of the heap for everything. You know, we
There's
got a
no,
$5 billion, it's almost $5 billion for the Ohio's rainy day fund. Do you know where that money came from? The townships.
there's no way we can
Seriously.
substantiate
Okay.
40%.
no, I
There
agree.
isn't.
I mean,
There isn't.
Take them to court, I mean, there's no way they can substantiate 40%.
They can't, yeah.
no, and that's where, I mean, saying, beating the regionalization drum, there's two paths. I guess, is what I'm
Regionalization
saying.
is going to be a long, hard road, no doubt about
Oh,
it,
yeah,
no doubt about it.
and I'm
There's
fine.
10, 15 years, I think that's what Toledo, was it Toledo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
6119.
Yeah. But,
You gotta start somewhere.
yeah, certainly. I mean, we got some good press out of our last meeting, by the way. We really nice editorial.
That's a guy who.
Yeah.
He's real quiet, you know, but-
I'm trying to do like 3 things at once right now. Now we're doing Youngstown. And Isles now.
Yeah, you're gonna get it from both
Okay.
sides.
Oh,
Let's move on. We got, is that all you have for the rate increases? Is that all you wanted?
That's all, just, yeah.
Yeah.
Pump station update, Middle Ridge.
Yes, I think I mentioned this to you before, I don't have the schematic on here, but out there in that Mineral Ridge district, the people up on the high elevation, like up on Niles Carver Road, we are having to still feed them with Youngstown water because of the pressure problem. And I mentioned to you before, we can strategically place a pump station down about halfway up the hill to be able to, yeah, right here. Rex, thank you for bringing that. But anyway, we need another pump station right here so we can close that Youngstown valve. Youngstown is charging us, I think, higher than Newton Falls for water these days, aren't they? And theirs is gonna go up too, isn't it? Is theirs supposed to go up, at the first of the year? I think I saw that too. We gotta calculate that into there.
Yeah.
Okay, but we have got to close that Youngstown valve. Anyway, there's a request for qualifications out right now. To get an engineer here and get this thing designed. Well, mostly water modeling and, to get it designed, but we're pretty certain that we just need to put that pump station where I located it last meeting. But anyway, that is in the works and I'm trying to move forward on that.
Okay, do we need any more conversation on regionalization? You're
I
working on
covered it,
dates?
I'm working on it, yeah.
And let me know when, let me know.
I'll keep everybody in,
Okay.
except the press.
Board member comments, any comments?
I'd like to make a comment. This is the third meeting that I've been at. I happen to be privy to discussions that you guys, I happen to be at the commissioners' meetings for other reasons, and listen to your trying to persuade them to do a rate increase and the pushback you got. were they privy to half of the information that you shared with us today? Or
Oh,
in the
yes,
last
I
three?
believe me, we've made
meetings?
multiple presentations to them.
I don't understand as a rational thought process here, just the pass-through that you're talking about, that hadn't been done throughout all this time. That they couldn't understand that there's not an option. I mean, I was upset at the point because I didn't understand, as a trustee in Brookfield, I had to explain it to my residents, but by being part of these meetings, and if I thought that the commissioners had all the information we're receiving, that it's almost like a no-brainer, and it's almost like you said, you're just passing through where we're being charged by outside entities, that if we don't, you can't afford to eat that cost, it's gonna eat your system.
Yeah, well, that's why we ran out of money, because of those pass-throughs. Our operational costs didn't go up, our personnel costs, it was minimal compared to that bulk water rate increase.
If you passed one, that was the last one.
Yeah, back in 2015,
that's-
we were paying about $3 million a
I'm
year
not
for
gonna
the
say
bulk
you
water,
couldn't
now
have
it's
done
over
that.
5 million.
And even information like this, that's necessary for a system to do, I don't understand at this point why there was, I know there's politics involved, there isn't anything, but why there was so much of a pushback, like, it sounded to me, from the outside looking in, that you guys weren't doing your job here, and that you were, like, for years, you didn't ring the bell, and now you were, and they were upset over the fact, but if they had this information behind closed doors or publicly, however, and they, you know, they wanted to create this board, in my eyes, because they wanted to make sure somebody was watching you. I don't know if that's what it was about, but that's the reflection I got, is that they needed somebody to check that things were going okay.
I think the first discussion was not with the current board members, but I think in 2019.
Right after Commissioner Malloy came on board, so
Well,
what
before,
would that
it
have
was
been?
before that though. No, it was,
Did I discuss the rate increases with them?
we did a rate study in like 19.
You know, to that, you know.
Yeah, and no board would wanna put that on there.
You know, it historically, that's the way it is. Commissioners are always hesitant on passing a rate increase because they feel that's a reflection on them from the residents of Trumbull County. And as you said, there's politics involved. And they just can't grasp that the Ohio EPA, by statute, requires for water and sewer districts to operate at a level of sustainability.
And I'm in the black.
Yeah, and that's the easiest way to explain it. If I was commissioner, that's the way I would explain it. Hey, we've had an engineer perform this rate increase. This is what they've come up with. This is what we need to sustain as Carol says. And it's simple as that. It's the Ohio EPA regulation to do it. And these guys are just providing the information. I battled them. George Libertine battled them, Chuck Miller battled them.
Yes.
That's just the nature of the beast.
Well, I received an education, if nothing else, in the last 3 meetings of things I didn't know about, that, I'll champion your cause anytime you want now. I mean, and I have limited information, what you have. I'm trying to absorb this all every meeting, but, yeah, I'm on the band.
So we are always trying to be more efficient. Get more with less. I mean, that is our motivation here all the time.
You know, you need.
To do things at the least cost we can, but still provide the services required.
They are the Trumbull County Commissioners, right, which includes Warren and Niles. More than willing to accept their help.
That is in the agreement with Niles,
pass-through rates.
the 10-year agreement, that when their inside rate goes up, ours goes up also. So, and we pay the certain percent of their inside rate, that's why at the bottom of that, you can see what their inside rate is.
Right.
Yeah. So their increase,
I
their
mean,
inside rate
well,
on
no,
the
that's what I'm saying.
quarter.
Cause I was ready to go before.
Pushed. Yeah.
That's where.
I think 88% of that's gonna be the Southeast Water District, I think it's 1 point, so, yeah. So they're increasing their inside rate, that means ours goes up too. And that's already written in the agreement, there's no,
You're right.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question or maybe a statement. So I went to the commissioners, the gentlemen were present at the commissioners meeting, last meeting. And I brought them papers that I have with me also. There's $40 million of unpaid property tax, which included sewer assessment, water assessment, and, it also included the, real estate tax. I was told a couple meetings ago that, we couldn't collect that. Well, that's not true. We can collect it, it's collectible by the treasurer's office. So I contacted the treasurer's office, and he said that he's getting started. I mean, I know he's the new guy, okay, everybody's new, who cares, right? We have to collect some of that money. I know, I was also told part of it's not collectible. Well, I'd like to know what part that is, because I don't wanna pay mine either then, if they're not gonna collect it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. To me, it doesn't make any sense. So he said he's gonna start collecting it. That's gotta help you guys somehow.
Yes, yes, if we can get some of those,
It absolutely
yeah,
gotta help.
what we do is, when people are delinquent on a water bill,
Yeah.
sewer bill, or whatever,
Yeah,
and when it gets to a certain point and they're not paying, then we certify it over to the auditor's office. And then it gets put onto their tax bills. And that's what you're seeing there.
yes,
And the majority of that does get paid back to us. You know, the property changes hands. What'll happen sometimes, is when they say uncollectible, let's say the property where that person died and there wasn't enough money in the estate to pay this, then who's gonna pay that?
right.
Those are the ones where it gets tricky, where you may not get the money back.
I do understand that, I really
Yeah.
do. But there's gotta be something to get that money for you guys.
Yes, I
There
agree.
has to be, there's gotta be a push, and I think, you know, I mean, I'm here for Bob McBride, but he has a vote, and that's fine. Your committee should go and jump on that.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
I can't do that by myself, you know, I think a committee would be much better if we got
well,
together.
when we were told, look, the chicken farmer out there in Southington, he was delinquent on a bill, we certified him, okay?
Okay,
He started calling me trying to make a deal, well, how about we do this? I gotta tell him, it's out of my hands now, the sanitary engineers, we're not allowed to negotiate anymore once we turn it over to them. With the people that are delinquent, it's
Yeah, okay.
completely out of our hands. I have Matt Blair ready to talk to his lawyer, trying to come to some resolution on it.
yeah,
And Matt looked into it and said, once it gets certified to the auditors, it's completely out of our hands. It's now a treasurer,
Yeah.
property owner,
well, you
thing,
know,
and we're not involved in it anymore until they get the money and they send it back to us.
what happened to the auditor, or, I'm sorry, not the auditor, the treasurer, what happened to the treasurer all these years back? I have a guy that's, lives right down the street from me, and that's how I found out about it, is because it was a zoning issue, and I sit on the zoning board, okay? And I thought, well, I'll just look and see, cause I like to investigate everything that's going on, maybe I looked over something. He hasn't paid his taxes for 10 years, he owes $44,791.63. And I'm going, in 10 years?
Yeah, I find that unbelievable. How could
Isn't
somebody
that
get
the
away
most
with that?
incredible thing you've ever
Yeah,
heard?
yeah.
And I
I
struggle
don't-
to
I
get
don't- I
mine
don't
paid,
think-
but I get it paid.
I get mine paid too, cause I don't wanna be delinquent.
Well, what's
And
your
all this, but what do
suggestion?
you do to people that tell you, you would think that somebody's gonna come in and say,
Yeah.
sorry, you don't own this property
Yeah.
anymore, get out of here.
So,
So what's happening? Yeah,
so
I
what's
don't
your
know either.
suggestion for me then, as private citizen?
I think at this office, in order to address these, we need some concrete numbers. We need delinquent bills associated with water and sanitary sewer, and also the delinquencies associated with.
Any assessments.
Any assessment
Exactly.
and bond revenues.
Yeah,
Exactly, and there are, I requested, by email. Okay, ready?
I got it.
2,906 pages of delinquent taxes. I know, I'm not printing all that off, I printed off a couple pages just so when I
Yeah.
came to the commissioners,
Yeah.
you guys could see what I was talking
And
about.
all townships should be concerned about that too.
I would hope so,
Yeah, yeah.
$40
Trust me.
million? You gotta be kidding me.
On the operating statements, I think Bob showed this to me before, we show somewhere how much we certify each year, but then we show how much comes back in. And the difference between them is not a lot that we're losing.
Right.
But these ones that have been on there for years and years, it'll be a windfall coming back, but on the year to year, the
Yeah.
amount that we certify and the amount that comes back once they do
Yeah.
collect it, the difference in that is, you got something addressing that, Bob?
Well, I don't have the. So what
Oh,
I'm,
okay, good.
Well,
Let's take a look at this.
so, better than me, So this is only, I guess, telling half the story. I don't have the collection portion on here. This is actually our certification process. So what a certification process is, every year we have, Dee kind of champions it, and she goes through with our billing supervisor, and they determine what individuals have not paid us over a given period of time. So if you look at the first line, it's all water. Well, water, if you don't pay us, we go shut your water off. So that's why you can see that,
It doesn't get that
there's
high.
hardly any material money in water, because we turn it off, if you want it back on, you pay us.
Oh, shit, that's right.
So, well,
Well,
no,
no, right there.
what's that?
Holy shit.
Well, no, so that's how much we certify every year. Now, our collections of that are very similar to that amount. So I get paid every year in assessments, so we get it through the auditor's office / treasurer. So we turn it into the auditor, they put it on people's property taxes. Now, you can look at our sewer amounts, but a lot of those are sewer-only customers, and they literally do not pay their bill. The only time they pay is when they get their property tax, and then they pay us. So like, we certified, you can look at 2024, we didn't do it in 2023, our IT person was out, so we were unable to do it in 23. So we certified 1.7 million in 24, and we probably got 1.5 of that back. Right, just in the first year, and then the rest of that money trickles in over the next future years. Now, like you said, there are times where stuff is not collectible, but it is no longer a sanitary collections issue. Because we basically are giving it to the auditor, who's putting it on the treasurer's rolls for real estate. We don't go after those people. That is done through the treasurer's office.
Is that a mandatory law? That
Yeah.
that it go, if you have an assessment for sewer or water?
So,
is it mandatory that act can go right on your taxes?
It's an ORC.
yeah, there's
I
an
don't
ORC
have the
section
number
for us to
on this,
certify.
but yes.
And actually, to our benefit is if we certify somebody, and in Gary's case where he said about the chicken farmer, he owed us a large $16,000. So he paid his property taxes that were due, that were less than our certification, and the entire amount he paid went to his water bill. Because the first thing they pay are your delinquent water and sewer bills before they go on your taxes. So his bank or whoever was dealing with him looked at he was delinquent on his property taxes because all the money was paying back our certification first. So the gentleman that you passed out at that commissioners meeting, he hasn't made any payments, so we haven't received any funds. If that house were to be foreclosed on by the treasurer, he owed a lot of money. It was amazing. But that aspect, I'm sorry.
Does that stand true with the private line?
Well, don't they, during the sale, don't the people, whoever the new purchaser is, at least have to pay off the taxes and the certification?
Yeah, who's gonna do
I
that?
know that's how it works up in Pennsylvania, cause I know some trout cans up there that got bought for the
If
taxes.
someone would buy that house, they're gonna pay $44,000 before they even buy the house?
No, if it's in foreclosure, it goes to a sheriff's sale,
Oh, wow.
the minimum bid at a sheriff's sale is gonna be the amount of those outstanding taxes. Yeah, that's my understanding
So
of
if you
it.
have a private sewer line, then it doesn't go on your taxes.
Well, if he had delinquent assessments,
I
that
mean,
would,
I'm
that
just
would
talking
be, that
about
would
if
be
you have a
part of it
private
too.
line, if there's a private sewer line going through your house or going past your house, private,
When you,
it doesn't go on your taxes, they won't allow it to do
Well, what do you mean by private?
yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by
it. Okay, so when Andy Yont, you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Andy Yont put in that line for his apartments because the EPA was on him about,
And he has a package plan.
and,
Is that a package?
I-
Yeah, it's a
I have
private
no
package
idea,
plan.
I don't
Yeah, it's
know.
a private package plan,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
so,
saying, it's
so we,
private.
yeah, so he doesn't owe us any money on that.
He may not owe it, but,
He doesn't
but
owe
what I'm
us.
trying to say is they wouldn't let us put it on our taxes because it was private. We had to borrow the money and pay
Andy
And-
Yon. Oh,
right up front
okay, so you're tied into a private package plan.
on the, sewers, or water.
All on
We just
water?
got, no, we just got the water. So that was the
Well,
sewer.
where do you live, Cheryl?
What's that road? Right down from Amazon.
Trying to picture that. So at the end of Perkins Jones,
At the other
go
end.
north.
On the other end, two houses up from the, church on the.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Do we have water there? Yeah.
I know you do, I know
I
you
mean,
do,
it's-
because I just got it.
Perkins Jones?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the one.
Perkins Jones, is that a road at that intersection?
No, not that intersection.
We have a lot of other problems.
No, we're Perkins Jones. Farther north.
All right, so anyway, you are tied into a water line that Andy Yon put in.
No, that was a sewer line,
A sewer line
But
that
it
he
was
put in,
private.
okay, and he must have a private package
Yeah,
plan out there.
yeah.
And so he was charging you the cost of that private,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
But the guy down the road is, on Bezetta Road, that's right on the corner, is the one that hasn't paid for 10 years.
Okay,
So,
so does he owe that money to Andy Yon or to us?
Timing rate.
Okay, all right.
owes it to you.
Well, let's just hope that treasurer can get something going here to get some of his money back.
Well, I'm gonna keep on them because I just think it's, I mean, I don't wanna make an ass of myself.
Cause it's
But
green.
I just
you
think
know,
I need to
every
keep on them and say,
year,
okay,
and then
I'd like to have a report of what you've collected
Yes,
every month,
yes,
if you
yes,
don't mind.
yes.
I just respond.
I agree, I want that
As soon
revenue
as
too.
you pay
I mean, that's money that people
Yeah.
owe. Yeah, other people are paying, if he's not, it's not fair, you gotta pay, you're
And
here
it's
too.
showing up.
Yes, I agree with you.
Okay, good.
So can you get that, Gary, I mean, as you said, this is only part of it, can you get the other half?
Yeah, let's take a look at what we got paid back in certifications here, and yeah, so they can have some idea.
You know what, you could see sort of, you know, what the economy did these years, like in the sewer payments, you know, 2021, 581,000 dropped a little, 2022, and now 2024.
Well,
close to
24, it
125.
actually, 24 actually includes 23 and 24.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is when, what, Patty was out, we
I-
could
I
get it
want- yeah,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, but this jump up to 2025, I mean, it almost,
Yeah,
yeah, that is not skewed. Well, I guess that 2024, divide that in two, let's say 2024 went to 750, 2025 went to $1 million.
yeah, I'd like to know what.
Yeah, let's, yeah, I like to see that too, Bob,
Absolutely.
what's that number?
and I think we talked about it.
The delinquency and, assessment costs of paying off water, sanitary, sewer, bond, and
Yeah,
bond, you know, assessment costs that people pay from the.
Okay.
is that included, would this be the capital? Is
Well, if
that
it
what
says
that is?
capital,
Yeah, capital.
And those are the
Yeah.
assessments?
Yeah. Well, yes, that is what was assessed for the capitals.
Okay.
that's
You mean the
delinquent, that's,
capital charges?
Yes.
Okay, so those are delinquent capital charges, okay. It's not actual assessments that, you know, through a petition project.
No.
Okay,
That's the actual capital.
well, we don't certify those because they're already being collected by the treasurer.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, these are,
Okay.
these are the ones
Okay,
that
these
are.
are-
If
yeah.
they're getting it, you know, I asked Bob for the, sanitary sewer, debt, and, this is what it is. You got annual payments of $4,234,410. Your total obligation is $83,440,000, and we have an outstanding balance of $63 million. And this doesn't reflect your Lexington project either, which is gonna kick this up another $10
Yes.
million. I'd like to know what part of this, debt that people are paying is not being collected.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and I gotta say this, that new project, given the area that it's being constructed, I think you're gonna really have problems collecting it,
Alright.
especially at the treatment plant, cause
Well, that's-
I'm gonna end up paying for the treatment
Yeah.
plant.
Yeah,
You
we,
said, yeah.
what's that?
My sewer rates are gonna be paying for that treatment plant.
Well, I can tell you,
Well, they're already paying for the Mosquito Creek and the Brookfield,
Who is? They're not even,
You are.
they're not even tied into the, yeah, I know. I
We're on a
mean, where
combined,
does it
we're on a
stop?
combined sewer district.
Where does it stop?
Well, the people here are
I
paying.
paid my debt, Gary.
Okay, one of our biggest bills is that massive meter coming out of Champion into Warren. People in Brookfield are paying for that too. People in Miami are
That
paying for that.
doesn't make me
You know,
feel any better.
Warren charging us through the nose for that, flow going into their sewer
I
system.
don't,
And it's coming out of Champion. Should I put all that on the Champion people?
well, I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm one of those guys that you pay for what benefits you.
Well, then I'd have to increase Champion. You guys be up around 15, 16,000.
You know, Warren City ought to check their treasurer about collecting their unpaid funds, because the guy on Dana Street owes $323,000.
Well, geez, that's just crazy. I
mean,
can't
I don't
believe people are giving
know how
away.
to tell you.
And he has the street,
Yeah.
and they close the street.
And they, yeah, what the hell is that?
Hey, whatever, okay.
Yeah.
But he's gonna put millions into those two plants and he's gonna create thousands of jobs. Thousands of
Okay.
jobs. That was a decade ago.
Next meeting is December, no,
The next scheduled one, but we're gonna try to get something in January.
I'll work on it.
Is there somebody that could call people to see if they could be here, to make sure you had a quorum? If not, I could help you with that if you want.
Let,
we're gonna have to.
let's,
get there.
let's find out when
Okay,
the legislators will get together.
oh, okay.
Even if each one of us called, like, I can call Bill Coletta, although he's not gonna be in office then, so he's not gonna be on the board. But I could call somebody next to me and say, hey, you coming tonight? As a reminder, I'd be willing. We all did that.
Okay, so, everybody have a good holiday. And, motion to adjourn?
Don't have it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
you did it real hard.
Yeah, that's right. It'd be nice to-